makers, my name is Danya, and together we are going to learn the two most popular ways to frost cupcakes. So we have the swirl method and the rosette method. And I'm also going to be showing you guys a few different piping tips that you can use to achieve different looks. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is fill our piping bags with some buttercream. And the first tip that I have for when you're filling your piping bags is to make sure that you cut your hole in the bag big enough. It actually takes a pretty wide diameter to get that piping tip through there. And what we're looking for is to make sure that all of those slots that you see at the tip of your piping tip are exposed. We don't want that piping bag to be covering any of those slots. And the second most important thing to remember is to be very careful when you're dropping your piping tip inside the bag because they're very sharp and they will poke a hole. Now, let's go over the piping tips that we're going to be using today. So first off, we have the Ateco 856 piping tip. Second, we have the Wilton 1M tip. And we also have a Wilton 1G tip. And here is our classic open coupler. And the first method we're going to be going over today is the swirl method. So when you start a swirl on a cupcake, you want to start on the side and you want to make a circle and move upward in concentric circles, kind of stacking them on top of each other, if you can see. So here I'm going to show you guys a drawing. So we're going to start on the outside of our cupcake. And we're going to make a circle, and then you just swirl towards the inside and you go up and you want to stack them almost like stairs. So as you can see, I started on the outside, that first circle, and just stack each circle halfway on top of each other as you move up. Here's a better view from above. Hopefully you can see that. The detail of how I'm just stacking those circles on top of each other. That first tip was our Ateco 856 tip. The second tip that I'm using is the Wilton 1M tip. And as you can see, I'm just making circles and going inward and stacking them up on top of each other. And now we're going to move on to the second method, which is the rosette method, my favorite. So for the rosette method, you want to do the exact opposite. You want to start your swirl on the inside, on the middle of the cupcake. So we started our swirl on the outside of the cupcake, and we're going to start our rosette on the inside. And here is another example with a drawing. So that dot is where we're going to start. You start your swirl from the inside and then you start to swirl outward. So as you can see, I'm just starting with a dot in the middle and making circles around that first dot that I made. And this is your rosette method. Here that is again from a better angle for you guys. You just want to start in the middle with a dot and then just go around in a circle around that first dot that you made. Now you can go around in one circle, two circles. It really just depends on how big your cupcakes are. And the rosette method is also perfect for when you want to get those perfectly flat ice cupcakes. All you need to do is use an open coupler to frost with. And what we're going to do is just go around using the rosette method. And all you want to do is get that as perfectly circle and as flat as you possibly can. And the next thing you're going to want to do is just grab a piece of parchment paper and you want to lay that flat on a smooth surface, the smoothest surface that you can find. If you have an acrylic disc, that's perfect. I like to use acrylic squares. I have an acrylic square here. And you just want to press the bottom of that cupcake and put it in the freezer for about 10 minutes. And when it comes out, you'll have a perfectly flat ice cupcake. Okay, so here we have all of our rosettes. Now let's move on to some bonus tips. Okay, the first thing that we're going to talk about is piping pressure. Now, what is piping pressure? It's how hard you're squeezing your bag. how much pressure are you putting on that bag? So the more pressure you're squeezing your bag with, the more icing you'll have on your cupcake. And obviously, the less hard that you squeeze your bag, the less icing you're going to have on your cupcake. And this is something that can affect your end result too, and the aesthetics of your cupcake. Now, our second tip is how to steady your hand. Now, this gives you more control over your piping bag. As you can see throughout this video, I'm placing my index finger on the side of my piping bag as I'm going around in circles. And that just helps me keep those circles really neat and professional. So that is it, you guys. That is our swirl method and our rosette method. I really hope that this video was helpful for you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!